Welcome to The Explainer. We're about to dive into the powerful story of a young woman known as the Forest Girl. It's a really tough story about betrayal, incredible resilience, and the glittering false promises of a new life.
In this quote, well, it really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? We're following a young woman, Khushi, who's caught in this awful tug-of-war between the dazzling lights of the city and the simple, real warmth of the home she left behind. So our story kicks off in a small, quiet village. Khushi's life is pretty simple, but it's about to be completely turned upside down. And it all starts with a single phone call, a seemingly innocent call from her aunt, who lives in the city of Dehradun. On the phone, the aunt just paints this picture of a poor, lonely woman. I'm not feeling well, I just need some help for a few days. It's a story designed to pull at their heartstrings, to play on their sense of family duty. But really, it's the first step in setting a devastating trap.
Now, when Khushi's father hesitates, the aunt's manipulation gets really chilling. She brings up this old family tragedy, claiming Khushi has been a source of misfortune, an ill omen, right from the day she was born. It's an incredibly cruel thing to say, and it's designed to do one thing: break his spirit.
So, after planting that seed of guilt, she offers the perfect solution. She dangles this promise of a rich husband for Khushi, a life of total luxury that could pull their entire family out of poverty. Her parents are hesitant, you can feel it, but the aunt just pushes and pushes until they finally agree. And so, Khushi arrives in the city. And at first, she is just completely amazed. It's a world she's only ever seen in her dreams.
I mean, you have to imagine, for a girl coming from a small village, the sheer scale of it all. The source calls it the Chaka-Chand, which is like a blinding dazzle. It's just overwhelming. These huge roads, buildings that seem to scrape the sky, all the glowing lights. It's all so new and honestly pretty exciting. And this comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got this simple, beautiful image of her village life. And on the other, the brutal reality she was about to face. A concrete jungle where she says she felt like she was dying while still alive. To keep this whole illusion going, her aunt just keeps feeding her these fairy tales. She even shows Khushi a picture of a handsome young man telling her, "This is your prince. This is who you're going to marry." And Khushi, well, she believes it all. She starts dreaming of this amazing future, with absolutely no idea it's all a lie.
But that dream, it doesn't last. The second she finds out the truth about her marriage, the whole thing just shatters.
Right. So here's the first huge shock. She finally meets her husband, and it's not the guy from the photo. It's a much older, cruel man. The man in the picture, that was his son. The deception is just absolute.
So you're probably asking, why? What was the point of all this? Well, her aunt didn't arrange a marriage. She arranged a sale. She sold her own niece for 1.5 lakh rupees. That's about $1,800. From that moment on, Khushi is a prisoner. She's trapped in a fancy house in the city of Merit, where she's abused and threatened with a pistol. And her so-called husband makes it perfectly clear. If she steps out of line, he'll force her into prostitution to get his money back. It's a complete nightmare. So she's trapped in this concrete jungle, and it really seems like all hope is gone. But then, a little flicker of light appears, an ally, and it's the last person you would ever expect. It's Sonu, the man from the photograph. He comes home from college and finds Khushi in his house, sick, skinny, being treated like an animal, and he is just completely horrified by what his own father has done. So for the first time, Khushi finds someone she might be able to trust, and she just breaks her silence. She tells Sonu everything, the lie, the betrayal, being sold to his father. And then she says this heartbreaking line, "I thought you were my partner." She'd been looking at his photo, thinking he was her future. Sonu is just disgusted, utterly disgusted by his father's cruelty. And he makes Khushi a promise. He tells her he will help her escape what he calls this hell of incivility. In her absolute darkest moment, she's finally found someone on her side. So with Sonu's help, they come up with a plan. Her one and only chance to escape is when her captor has to leave town on a business trip, and she knows she has to take it. The plan itself is pretty simple, but man, is it risky. Soon gets her a bus ticket and some cash for the trip. While her husband's away, she manages to slip out of the house, get to the station, and board a bus. Her long, nerve-wracking journey back to freedom has begun.
As that bus starts putting miles between her and that horrible city, you can just feel the landscape start to change. Seeing the familiar hills of Missouri in the distance, that's a real turning point.
The farther she goes, the lighter she must feel. As the bus gets into the Tomasa Valley, her home region, you can just imagine that suffocating weight of the city finally starting to lift.
And then she sees it. Her mountains, her forests. She hears the bells on the necks of the village sheep. The source material has this beautiful line, saying it was as if the mountains themselves were bursting with water to welcome her home. For the first time in what must have felt like a lifetime, she can actually breathe again.
Her reunion with her mother is exactly what you'd expect, just a flood of tears and pure relief. But her father's reaction? It's haunting. He rushes toward her to hug her, but his arms just freeze in midair. He can't do it. He's just speechless, overcome with shock, and you can feel the unspoken guilt and shame.
So Khushi made it, she's home, she's physically free. But the story leaves us with this really big, lingering question. After a betrayal that came from inside her own family, can that trust and can that family ever really be whole again?